You are listening to Freshly Squeezed.
Some sounds simply come out of your fingers.
So I just put that on. I thought, stickers and tattoos has got to be a line. I've got it. I was just trying to wash my hairs, and he started saying like the music was mint and everything. So.
Hello, welcome to Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast and the place where you can discover bands that maybe you've never heard of before, but they're just waiting, just there, waiting to be your next favourite band. I'm Jim, but for now you can call me Carol Vorderman because I want to look at some numbers. 1 podcast, 3 great bits of new music, 4 brilliant artists I'm going to chat to, and I make that roughly 1 million listens to get listening to this show. And of course, subscribe so you never miss an episode of the podcast. You get a little alert every time there's a new one, and that way you never miss one of those bands that could be the one that you end up spending all your hard-earned cash on as you follow them around the country to see their gigs, not in a stalky way. So, you ready to do this? If you're an OG, if you've been here since the beginning, you may remember me speaking to a band called the Certs. Well, you won't believe the progress they've made over the last 12 months. Here's how they sound now.
If I could see you once again to say you'll bear away and tell me.
My God, am I excited about what that band can do going forward. I'm going to be catching up with the lads in a moment because they're up first. Also, we're going to be speaking to a brilliant singer-songwriter called Eyal Pik. That's his new tune, Television. Stick around not only to hear more of that, but also to hear his brilliant Uri Geller story. Finally, we're going to speak to a Liverpool band called 7 Streets about their new release. It's called Table for Two. See if you can guess the band that I compare these guys to.
One more table for two. Only when this night is through.
To be honest, I'd be amazed if you didn't make the same comparison as I do. You'll hear for yourself when I chat to frontman Niall shortly on Freshly Squeezed. But, as promised, we're first going to chat to the Certs. To give you an idea of exactly how far they've come since we first chatted, which was back in early 2025, episode 4 of the podcast, I want to play you a bit of the song we played alongside that interview by way of comparison. So this is delving into the back catalogue, delving into the archive. This is The Repetition from the Certs.
So we're starting again with duplication, repetition, another letter to send, waiting for the mutilation. Now we're stuck on a fence, having a one-sided conversation. You go tell all your friends, and I want them to stop.
So 15 months on from that tune, the Certs are back on the podcast, bringing it bang up to date. And I've got Carter and Finn from the band with me. How do, lads?
How's it going? All good?
As we speak, you're currently in the rehearsal studio. What's around you? Describe the scene.
Well, Luke's and Amos currently left the room because I guess they're shy. But no, we've just, we got the amps and stuff, got the kit.
Are you at that stage where you kind of have multiple guitars around you, or do you just have a couple of kind of faithful instruments at the moment?
Oh, I've always had way too many guitars around me.
Do you feel obliged to make sure you use them all so one doesn't feel left out?
Yeah, weirdly. I don't know if it's just me, but yeah, I've always got to make sure they all have their own turns, But I feel like some of them suit the songs better than others, so.
We spoke last time, Carter, 15 months ago. It was actually episode 4 of this podcast, and at the time, it was you, pretty much, the Certs, and you did the writing, you played most of the stuff in the sessions, on the recordings, etc. I mean, you've just name-checked some bandmates, you've got Finn sitting next to you. It sounds like there might have been a shift in that. Is it definitely more of a band project now than a solo project?
I mean, the Certs was always imagined to be a band project, and obviously, way back 15 months ago, it was only just starting out with the band fully. Nowadays, it's 100% more the band stuff than me. We're all trying to write new songs and come up with new ideas for where the band can go and stuff and everything.
Is that the biggest shift that you think that's happened over that year and a bit, that it has become more of a collaborative process?
I'd say that, and the fact that we've got 2 new members. We've got Lucas on drums and Finn, who is next to me, on bass. And the rhythm section has never sounded better.
How did you come into the picture, Finn? What was the motivation to bring you into the Certs?
I went to college with Carter and I knew the band before with the older members, and I've been to quite a few of the gigs. And I always thought like, oh, that's the kind of band that I want to be in. And then I got recommended to Carter when they needed a new bass player, and I come try out, and they said, yeah, no, we'll keep this guy around.
Did you have to do a audition?
I wouldn't say it was an audition.
Yeah.
It was more like we just jammed one time and we just had like a little set. Wasn't it? We told you to learn some of the songs.
Yeah,
and
it was. I kind of knew roughly some of the songs already from liking the music, and then I kind of worked them out, and then came to the rehearsal and was like, let's just jam some songs and see how it goes.
You're in the rehearsal studio now, obviously, but in terms of studios, you've worked in a fair few locations and with a fair few producers over the last few releases. Pete Hutchins, who worked with Royal Blood and produced Intuition. New Order's Tom Chapman has been in the booth before as well. How has working with those individuals changed the sound of the tunes that they have been involved with?
I'd say Intuition mainly is the thing which really kind of kicked off the new sound which we're going for. Yeah, what Pete Hutchins was able to do on that song is just utterly insane, and we'll like forever be thankful that he could do that. But yeah, it's just like, it's incredible. Yeah. Just for Show actually was one of the, like, after the EP, Just for Show was one of the first songs that I wrote. And funnily enough, when we came to record it in the studio, well, I think it was like 6 months ago, Tom Chapman, he kind of just captured the sound for that song easily. Yeah, it's just incredible to be working with like so many big names and like, you know, industry professionals. It's just incredible.
It's interesting you mentioned that Pete Hutchins has kind of like moved you in this, or helped move you in this new direction, because with the new tune Luna, I think it's got this real presence that maybe wasn't quite there before. And you mentioned his work with Royal Blood. That's definitely coming to the fore, I think. Is that something that you see the band leading into going forward?
Yes, yeah, I'd say so. Not so much the you know, whole one guitar, one drum setup, but yeah, just kind of that powerhouse presence is something we're kind of going for. I'd say, right? Is that the right thing to say?
100%.
Yeah.
I think the newer direction of the songs is definitely a huge punch in the face. Like when you listen to it.
It sounds bigger to me, but at the same time, it feels like some of that rawness has been kind of shaved off around the edges, and you've got kind of a more polished sound. Is that something you've been trying to achieve as well?
Yeah, I'd say so. 100. I think Luna, it like can perfectly captivate where we want to be. It's still got all that like trebly, twangy stuff from the original music, and then it's also got, you know, the whole beefy octave lead and like just this insane power sound. They're mixed together really well, so it does really show where we're going to.
I was interested to see that you've dedicated this new tune in tribute to Viola Beach. What's the connection with the boys there?
Well, I mean, I've always been a fan of Viola Beach, but when we recorded Luna, we went to St. Helens Catalyst Studios, and it was actually the same studio in which they recorded most of their stuff, and one of the guitars we used on the track, they had actually used. So, I mean, it's not much of a connection, but still, we just, you know, we want to dedicate the Luna to them, really.
I mean, I played the bass as well, which was quite cool.
Oh, you played? Oh, I didn't even clock that. You played their bass.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah,
it's a nice nod either way. So, how has playing live changed the band recently? Because I know when we spoke before, Carter, there was a challenge with some of the members of the band being under 18, struggling to book gigs. Obviously, that's kind of in the rear view mirror now. As you've got a bit older, those opportunities have opened up. Has that been a game changer?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone in the band now is all 18. Even with the new rhythm section, Finn, like, you're incredible on stage. Oh, thank you. Don't mind me saying. Yeah, no, it's actually like there's a lot more energy to it now. Lucas is just, yeah, he's a little powerhouse himself. He is on the drums, and like it finally feels like everyone is so willing and like ready to go when we're on stage. So it's just it's a lot more energetic than what it really was.
Finally, I found an interview that you did with Reading Indie Life back in January 2025, and you were asked in that interview, where do you think you'll be in a year's time? Do you remember what you answered?
Honestly, could not tell you.
You said it would be awesome if we can go on the streets and at least have one person come up to us and go, oh, it's the Certs. Has it happened yet?
Funnily enough, it has.
Nice.
I was in Guildford at the Weatherspoons, and I went to the toilet. It was quite a weird interaction, actually. It's not exactly what I expected, but doing my business, and as I'm washing my hands, this guy who I've never seen or met before in my life comes up next to me. He's like, "Oh, yo, the Certs, how's it going? I love your music." So I was a bit like, "Oh, mint, nice to meet you, I guess." So I was just trying to wash my hands, and he started saying like the music was mint and everything. So, but yes, it has actually happened. Funnily enough.
Well, at least it was after you'd washed your hands. It could have been worse. So if we're going to ask you the same question now, so you're looking forward to July 2027, what would your answer be? Where do you want to be at that point?
Well, Finn, what would you want?
I'd love to we've got Victoria's coming up, and I'd love to just keep playing more big festivals, and keep like exposing the music to a bigger audience and just giving us that exposure to more people.
Boys, well, good luck with what's coming next. Really enjoying the new tunes and the new directions, and it's a joy to see you kind of develop and grow and find your feet. So cheers for coming back on Freshly Squeezed. We'll make sure we check in a year's time and see how you're doing with your next ambition. Nice one for coming on.
Sweet, thanks for having us.
Cheers, thank you.
Love that. I can't wait to see where they are in another year, maybe a year after that and a year after that. They are going from strength to strength, the Certs. Next up, we're off to Liverpool to chat to Seven Streets. Niall from the band chatting to me. How do, mate?
I'm very well, mate. Very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. So first thing you get when you listen to this new tune is, I won't be the first person to say this, stereophonics. Was that a very conscious influence on this track? Or was there an element of you kind of hearing it and someone making that comparison and you going, oh, you know what? Yeah, you got a point there.
No, Stereophonics are my favourite band. And I love the way Caddy Jones writes songs. I love the way he sings. I love the way he performs live and stuff like that. So, yeah, the song came from, I've said this loads of times, I was in the shower and I was just having a karaoke to myself, imagining that I'm playing big stages, as you do. And it was just a Stereophonics live at, I think it was Tina Park. I was just listening to a couple of songs and then I just had the line Table for Two came to me, and then I just was listening to loads of different kind of stereophonic songs. So I had the sound in my head what I wanted it to be like. Table for Two came out and it sounds exactly how it sounded in the shower in my own head.
Vocally, he's very, very distinct in terms of kind of the way he performs. Yeah. Is that something you've had to work on, or was that something that just kind of like fitted naturally with the way you performed?
No, it's weird because I think sometimes the way I sing, it's like I'd smoked 50 a day, but it's just it came naturally, that kind of voice. I don't know where it came from or how I got it, but it was comfortable the first time I started singing like that. And yeah, I've worked on my singing, definitely. I think every singer does, but I haven't changed much from the way I sing naturally.
As a band, I know the origins of what you were doing kind of started playing covers around the Liverpool scene. Do you think that kind of created this melting pot of influences because you were performing other people's tunes and you're kind of becoming au fait with them, and does that then bleed into your own music?
Yeah, definitely. I think even though I said I love stereophonics, I listen to a lot of music, and that comes from my parents and the family. You'd have family parties and you just have big 70s anthems and or listen to obscure artists. But there's four of us in the band and we're all into kind of different similar music, but also like different bands, different kinds of music. And it's good the way it blends together because we're able to add different elements from different kinds of sounds, different genres. It stops us becoming the same as someone else.
I mean, obviously you're from Liverpool. and that is a city with this huge musical identity. As a band from that area, do you kind of almost have to fight against that sound a little bit and not become another Merseybeat, another Beatles, kind of like push against what's expected?
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things I want from our band is not to just turn into another, as you said, another like Merseybeat. Even though Beatles are the biggest band in the world and I forever will be, in my opinion, I don't touch them, and I don't want to be, as I said, I don't want to be just another band who sounds the same as everyone else. I want to bring back the kind of as the early 90s stuff and, Cast, what they did, unbelievable. If I can take a bit of that inspiration, that's for me.
You've only been together quite a short space of time as a band. December, I think it was, you got together. The songs that you're working on now and that you're releasing, are they creations that have come together as a band, or are they stuff that you might have had in a notebook or jotted down somewhere that you've kind of just brought to the table and it's been developed in that way?
Yeah, a bit of both, really. So we've come up with a couple of songs. Table for Two was one that, as I said, just we came to me a couple of months ago, and then took it to the lads, and then we worked on that as a band. But I have like just a big list of notes in my phone, and it's just full of like little one-liners, and I've had some in there from 3-4 years ago, and they've just come in a song last week. But yeah, everywhere I go, I just jot like little notes down, and I'll revert back to it.
What's your favourite note that you've got in that list at the moment that you kind of haven't had the opportunity to use yet, but you know that once you kind of unlock it, it's going to be a diamond?
Oh, I'm gonna have to have a look. I feel
out.
like I'll be
Get the
spoiling
phone
it,
out.
or someone's gonna nick it off me. There's loads. There's one on here. Where is it? There's one on here. So we played a gig in a pub around the corner from my house, and it was the night that Owen, our drummer, introduced himself to the band as a drummer. But on like the little kid things that you buy, get toys out of, you put a pound and you turn it.
Yeah.
There was like a thing on saying £1 stickers and tattoos. So I just put that on. I thought stickers and tattoos has got to be a line. I've got to, if I can't get a story out of that.
Look forward to hearing it when it comes. That's copyright for Seven Streets.
Yeah.
No one's having that one. It's going to be yours.
No one nicked that. Yeah.
Right. I love a bit of technology on the podcast. So I'm going to boot up the freshly squeezed AI supercomputer now. It's called Mangoes, and it's going to do some of the heavy lifting for me in this interview.
Go. Hello, K-I-M.
Hello, Mangoes. Please create 100 questions for the band Seven Streets.
Squeezing information.
So we've got 100 questions. Which of those questions you answer is completely up to you. We're going to do 3. So all you have to do is pick a number between 1 and 100, and you'll get asked the corresponding question. So where do you want to start? What number's first?
I pick number 10.
Hello, Eyal. Question 10. What is the biggest challenge facing new bands today?
It's places to perform. I think it's places to perform in your local area, your local city. I know Liverpool's such a massive music scene, but there's not enough places for local bands, and there's not enough chances to get and to go into venues and see what they sound like and see if they enjoy it. There's a lot of pressure from bars to make money and stay open. It seems the only way to do that for bars is to either be an Irish bar and have a lad on an acoustic guitar playing Sweet Caroline, or just have a Spotify playlist on. Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge. I think bars take risks when they have live music acts on, especially as a band. If for space, and if people don't like it because it's too loud or it's not their kind of thing, or they just want to hear covers, they don't want to hear original music, then bar managers and pubs aren't gonna take that risk because the margins are too small for them.
Very fair and good point. All right, let's have another number. Where are you going?
I'll have to go number 7.
Was there one specific moment that inspired the new song, Table for Two?
The story sort of came halfway through me writing the song, which that's never happened before. So I didn't really know what the story was going to be about, but I knew there was a story there. And I got halfway through the song, and then as I got to the chorus when I was writing Table for Two, it came to me about just it's the guy, we all go through you get in a relationship, it breaks up, and then you don't really know where you are, what to do. So I just thought the story behind it was this guy just going on more dates just to try and get his mind off it and keep himself occupied, and quickly realises that's not how it works.
Nice. Right, let's do one final one. What's your last number?
I'll go 97.
Question 97. What is the worst lyric you've come up with that you haven't put in a song?
That's quite nice compared to you talking about kind of your favourite lines. What's the worst one you've come up with?
I've come up with some howlers. Howlers. Oh, I don't know. I think when I first started like playing the guitar when I was about 10, and about 10. I picked it up when I was about 15. I wrote a couple of songs, and honestly, mate, they will go to the grave with me. They were terrible.
You're not going to reveal them here.
No, they were awful, mate, and I'm shocked. But I think the more you write, the better you are. So I think if I can keep writing songs, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to be howlers, and then I can learn from that and practice. But yeah, those first couple of attempts at trying to write songs, mate, they're not getting shown to anyone.
No, pleasure to meet you. Loving the music from Seven Streets as well. We're going to get the new one, Table for Two, on, and people can hear those phonics vibes for themselves in a second. But cheers for coming on Freshly Squeezed.
No, perfect, mate. Thank you very much for having me.
One more table for two. I wanna get to know you in this modern world. Days turn into night. Skip around the fights. Find a seat at the bar. Your eyes light up the room when I'm lost in the perfume. Stares, I can't help it. One more table for two. Only when this night is through. One more table for two. Now I don't know what it is I'm supposed to do.
Seven Streets, Table for Two. There is no denying the phonics influences on that. And I'm here for it. If you like the sound of that or like the sound of them, the links you need are in the podcast description, which is a good place to go if you just want more new music stuff. There's links to all the band we feature on today's podcast. Also, there is the all-important follow button around there in your app. It's a heart or a plus or something like that. If you click that, you'll get a notification every single time a new episode of this podcast is ready for your ears. Let's move on to the final band this week, Eyal Pik. Welcome to Freshly Squeezed, sir.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming on. As the name suggests, you were born in Israel, but you moved to the UK just before the pandemic. How has making music in the UK been different from making music when you were back home?
Well, what a question. So first of all, I moved to the UK in 2016 with an old band that I have back there, the Brain Candies. We were a psychedelic band, and we made a second album here. I've decided to stay after the band has broken up. I can only say that I have been on a magnificent journey, and I am meeting so many wonderful people everywhere. The main objective and the main goal is to break through with my own songs and my own original music, and that's what we're doing here. And it's great. I'm getting a lot of support, and there's nothing better than music to bring people together and start a dialogue and celebrate everything that's positive and beautiful. And I know I'm come across as a bit of a hippie, but that's just what it is.
Do you think that being originally from Israel has shaped your music? Like, has there been a cultural impact on the music you make? Because when I first heard it, I thought it sounded very British. And I was slightly surprised kind of researching you and finding your background that you weren't British. I was wondering whether you hear any of kind of like that cultural impact on your music.
So I am part British, and I have grown up with a tremendous British influence, mostly from my late grandmother and my godfather, who's a Londoner. And there was also a fascination with British music and culture, namely the Beatles and Pink Floyd and the Choral and Supergrass and all those great bands that have really shaped my musical identity.
With the new song, Television, it's interesting you mentioned the Beatles, because it feels like something that might have been left on the cutting room floor from the White Album. It's like a hidden track that got discovered years later. It's got this very lo-fi, almost forgotten 70s psych sound to it. Obviously, when music was recorded in that era, it was because that was the technologies available. Here, in the modern day, you've got kind of crisp, clean recording processes. You can clean audio up. You can do it all in your bedroom. Why have you leaned into that kind of raw, fuzzy feel with your music?
I believe that it's the same with, I don't know if you're a musician yourself, if you play an instrument, but well, I do strongly recommend it. It's very good. It's a life-changing thing. Always bring music into your life. I think it's a natural thing. It doesn't matter what guitar you pick up. It doesn't matter what pedals you're using. There's something that transcends from your personality. Some sounds simply come out of your fingers and your soul, and it's just where you fit in. It's like I could not be anything else. This is just who I am. This is what I'm bringing.
You make it sound almost like an instinctive process. And there's a really interesting part halfway through the song of Television where it just kind of drops down and you get this swirly ambience that comes into it. And there's like, I think there's some cuckoo noises in the background there. Where along the journey does that kind of creative flourish appear? I don't know. Is it there from the very early days of the song? Do you have it mapped out and you go, well, this is going to happen at this point? Or is it kind of like when you're jamming or in the production period? Where is that creativity coming from?
Funnily enough, the song Television had started from that point, that line that came to my head. And and I can pretend that you're on my side, and when it is dark, you're a shining light. It's an existential question expressing a sense of being lost in all that sea of information and disinformation and a lot of opinions and some bad vibes. And to me, as a creative and a very somewhat sensitive human being, I'm obviously affected by it a lot. It's a daily challenge to maintain sanity. But in terms of the cuckoos and the noises and the tape machines and the sound design and all those quirky things that going on there and those long delays, and there's almost a cinematic aspect to it. And I'm a massive movie fan. I studied cinema for my bachelor's degree. I like weird films and I like a good story. And I like it when a song carries that through and takes you on a journey.
That feels like the perfect point to play the song. But before we do, I need to ask you about Uri Geller, because I couldn't help but notice he's a fan of your music. He's given you a message of support before. This is what he said.
Hi everybody, my name is Uri Geller. Listen, I know a guy called Eyal Pik. He's an amazing singer. He's hugely talented and skilled. And listen, I've met enough singers from Michael Jackson to David Bowie to John Lennon to Elvis Presley. Get his album.
He's the sweetest guy. I met him randomly.
I was going to say, how did it come about? Because he's compared you to some pretty iconic artists in that list. How did you and Uri Geller cross paths?
What a crazy story. So this guy's an absolute legend and all-round superstar. He's pushing his 80th year and he's still going. What a brilliant dude. We met randomly in Jaffa, and he has his own little boutique museum where he shows his massive, insane collection of memorabilia of people he met, from John Lennon to Freddie Mercury to Taylor Swift and Diego Maradona and everyone in between. We just locked eyes with each other and started talking, and I played him the one and he loved it. And then he told me this crazy story about how John Lennon once called him in the middle of the night in New York and told him that he's seen an alien and that he must come see him. And then he showed me this little silver ball that he told me that John Lennon had given to him that it was something that was left from the aliens that visited him. And I was like, my God, this is unbelievable. And we just spent a couple of hours, and he's told the most amazing stories, and we kept in touch. He gave me a lot of confidence as well, because releasing new music, you never know how it's going to hit people, and it's nice to know that people get it.
Well, good luck with what comes next. Looking forward to hearing more music when it comes. We'll play Television on Freshly Squeezed now. We're dedicated to Uri Geller. Feels like he deserves that one. But Eyal, lovely to meet you, and thanks for coming on Freshly Squeezed.
Absolute pleasure, Jim. Thank you so much. Take care.
Three great bands, three great examples of what they can do, and hopefully three new additions to your playlists. Links to their stuff in the podcast description, along with a link to my playlist, which each week features more tunes from the featured bands and a whole load of other songs as well that I'm loving at the moment. Go check it out, give it a save. Updates every Friday. That's us done for the week. One more ask, quickly. Don't click stop, just listen. Hear me out. If you love this podcast, show your appreciation by voting for us in the British Podcast Awards. If you head to their website, and I will put a link in the description, but to be honest, probably just as easy if you Google it, find their Listeners' Choice Awards for Podcast of the Year, because it's kind of an open vote, and give Freshly Squeezed a vote in that. Let's be clear. No chance of us winning this, because we'll be up against Gary Neville and Adam Buxton and James Acaster and all those types of people. But hey, it would be nice to be in the conversation. And as always, I really appreciate your support. Cheers for that. Cheers to your ears. See you next time.
The award-winning Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast, was devised, produced and posted by Jim Salveson. Sound design and production by Ant McGinley. The music, Blue Blazer, is written and produced by Spin Class. Star.